Welcome to the Fellowship of the Script, the podcast where we dive deep into the craft, struggles, and stories of filmmaking. I'm your host, Eric Bowder.
And I'm your other host, Ben Escobar.
Whether you're just starting out or you've been in the industry for years, this is the place for real talk about the art and business of film.
So today we're going to be doing a bit of a special episode. It's a full news kind of roundup, talking about some of the most interesting film stories we've seen hitting the industry right now. From AI-powered features to record-breaking horror releases to indie creators making waves at festivals. There's a lot to cover. Also a little bit of business talk with some potential acquisitions as of today, hearing about that Warner Brothers acquisition from Paramount and Skydance, supposedly. So
Big stuff.
interesting stuff.
Take it away.
So yeah, let's start with this OpenAI stuff. OpenAI is basically producing an almost entirely AI-powered animated feature called Critterz. They're aiming for a 2026 Cannes debut. This isn't the first time you're seeing a big tech company, which I guess you can call OpenAI like one of the big tech companies now, and alongside Meta and Google and all that. This isn't the first time you're seeing these people kind of enter entertainment. But it's interesting to see that, we don't have a Google streaming service yet, but
Yet.
but then it's like, oh, is the Google streaming service going to be AI specifically? Like, what is that going to look like? Because I don't know. I would have sooner expected like a Amazon like kind of thing, like a Google Plus streaming service. Although maybe not. Throwback to Google Plus though. Anyway, what are your thoughts?
Well, so to kind of talk about like exactly what they're doing, they're using Chat GPT-5 and some other AI tools to generate the animation, dialogue, and even the story ideas. So it's basically 100% AI. It's one of the biggest experiments we've seen with AI-driven filmmaking yet. And I did see that they're talking about using real actors, but it's essentially like they record a portion of the dialogue, and then they can use that to generate the rest of it. So it's exciting, but also it raises questions about originality, creativity, and who made the art. Who's the author behind this? And so for indie filmmakers, it's kind of inspiring because it puts the power to make a fully animated thing by yourself into the palm of your hands at your fingertips, right? Because I guess you would be typing these prompts. But it's something that definitely I think makes people cautious about how we embrace it, and it shows the possibilities of technology, but storytelling and ideas are what I think are the biggest debate around this. Do we want to be watching completely AI generated movies? I don't, but like Ben had mentioned in a previous episode, being able to like throw your friends or like a family member into your favorite movie and just like get a kick out of it, that is, I could see the fun in that. But when it comes to actually like making money from AI generated stuff, that's where I kind of draw the line. And we can talk about that a little bit more with this next topic. So any final thoughts on that?
I mean, it's weird. I mean, years and years from now, maybe in 2100 or maybe even farther than that, we'll be looking at this film or one of these AI films like how we look at, I don't know, the General, or like, one of those like OG films where it's like, this was about a train and this was an important movie, even though like it's boring for some of us now, but it's like required reading in film school. Or like, I don't know, there's that garden video where it's like the first moving picture ever made. I would hate to, we say we hate it now. I wonder what the next generation and beyond will say about, whether these AI films are, which are, obviously technical achievements right now, are they going to be as important for, what they did technically and what's going to come? But
Yeah,
yeah,
I hope they don't let it in the can. I hope that they put a foot down there, because I'm sure they'll get some backlash if they do let it into the festival.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, there's a lot, but that kind of moves on to the next one about like how, if you're not in an entirely original concept with AI, then you're enhancing classics like Wizard of Oz in Vegas, which is getting this immersive reimagining that's gotten a lot of like good feedback and stuff, but it's a lot of also kind of complicated, weird feedback of diehards of the original, and also just kind of questioning like if this is what's possible now, what's next, of course. So
Yeah, can't imagine what it's going to be like in another year. So right now, you can buy tickets, and I think they're like $200 to go see the Wizard of Oz AI enhanced at the Las Vegas Sphere. It uses AI. They use drones and other interactive tech to create this sensory experience that's part live theater and part tech spectacle. And I've seen some footage of it, and it's pretty mind blowing stuff. And it's another example of somebody taking legacy IP and essentially reimagining it. This one's kind of like a hybrid experience, but it definitely it seems like it's signaling a bit of a shift in the industry and how they can use classics to generate revenue. I mean, we've been seeing them re-release classic movies. I mean, Jaws is obviously for its 50th anniversary playing right now, but I feel like every week I'm seeing more and more older films re-released to generate box office revenue for the companies that own the rights to them. So
it's
yeah.
interesting. I saw The Matrix in Cosm, which is LA's sort of Sphere equivalent. It's not as big as a Sphere, but I actually have been to the Sphere. I did not see Wizard of Oz. I saw the Darren Aronofsky Postcards from Earth, which was really beautiful, I will say, and very emotional, shockingly, where it's just a little short film about life, and just obviously as a showcase of the spectacle and power of the Sphere itself. But it really made me hope for original content to be shown there, and it not being this futuristic like gimmick. Although I will say, I mean, you haven't been to the Sphere yet, right?
No, but I just on the way to LA when I flew to come hang out with you for a couple days. I just got back yesterday for the people listening. But I saw the Sphere from like the plane, and I was like, that thing is just huge, man. It's crazy. You cannot miss it looking at that skyline.
Yeah, it is a crazy spectacle of Vegas. I mean, they sell hotel rooms in Vegas based on how good of the view it is to the Sphere. And so if you want to see this like crazy technical achievement, like this is sort of where society's going. But also if you go inside before you get to this like crazy, like before you get to your seat, because it's a complicated like escalator situation, they have these robots there that you can talk to and interact with that are sort of like how you see like Rizbot or something like that, but like more like iRobot looking, where they're kind of
Whoa.
humanoid but kind of like have the weird colors. It's like something between Ex Machina and iRobot, and you're supposed to like talk to it, and like there's this huge line. It's sort of like the warm up or prep for the Sphere, and so it's very much trying to be this haven of hyper futuristic stuff, which is cool in some regard, but I think it is important to keep it as original as we can, or as like, Cosm is a cool example of uplifting a beautiful art like The Matrix, and having it be a celebration of something that, you wouldn't get to see in that way ever. I mean, I can think of so many movies that would be great to see in that experience. And I'm sure you'd say the same if you see it, but maybe like if you do get
It's
to do
definitely on my
a,
list. Yeah. Like
yeah.
it's something I would like to experience. I think
Actually,
yeah.
next time you're in LA, we should actually sincerely do Cosm. I think you'd really enjoy it.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
I
I'm
mean,
down.
I should have remembered that since you were just here, but
Oh, it
we'll
was
we'll
such a
make a point
short
out of it.
trip, so
Yeah,
yeah.
that's like it's a must see. Do I mean it's also just beautiful because they have the whole experience is surrounded by the Matrix. It's like a Matrix night. You're encouraged to cosplay. You can get the red drink or the blue drink, and it's like red pill, blue pill.
Wanna
They
drink
have
'em
a
both.
whole yeah, yeah, exactly. It's like if you come in with a couple, one guy gets the red drink, other one gets the blue, but like they also have a little tasting menu where it's like good noodles from the line in the movie where like these are good noodles or something like that. You can buy like a little thing of ramen noodles. They have Oracle cookies where and they serve these in sync with the movie.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you order it at the top of the movie like I want the noodles, and then when he says the line, there's somebody in front of you handing the thing that says good noodles on it. And same with the cookies. I mean, that's cool. You know, I think it's important because it makes people love art and it gets you wanting to go to the theaters. But yeah,
Yeah, I
there's a lot.
think where I draw the line is the fact that with this Wizard of Oz screening that they're doing, they we talked about it in a previous episode. They literally are generating parts of scenes that don't exist. Like they weren't made by the filmmakers. So a character might walk off screen, and now you're seeing where they went, where that was never shown before. So it's just generating like something that wasn't ever like intended to be a part of the film. And I mean, I did see how they were kind of like during these crazy moments, like when she's like flying into the tornado and stuff. You're like seeing all these things, and it looks cool, but they're charging $200 a ticket for something that's being manipulated from its original form. And so I could definitely see how some people might put their foot down and be like, I don't want to support that. But the thing that I always keep in mind is that it's not going away. Like there's nothing we can do. This is a part of life now, and it's going to become more and more a part of life. But yeah, it's crazy stuff, man. I mean, I saw that they're talking about doing. I think one of is it Orson Welles? He has a film where like 30 something minutes of it was destroyed, and so they're going to use AI to recreate it or something.
Wow, I did not hear about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I heard about that, and I know the family, well, Orson Welles' family is not, like, too stoked about it, but they don't own the rights, so they can't do anything about it. Yeah, but, I mean, on a more positive note, on the box office side, The Conjuring Last Rites opened to about 187 million globally, which puts it as the biggest horror opening ever, surpassing It Chapter 1 for 2017. Pretty crazy.
Very exciting. I mean, I will say, I'm starting to have these meetings with production companies and execs who would never ever want to make a horror movie suddenly say, "Oh, I've always been a big horror fan. Come on, I like let's totally do. We've always been down. Come on, like we're a team of freaks." It's like, what are you talking about, guys? Um, that
The
said,
trend.
though, yeah, it's cool. It's the trend, and it at least it's getting original content alive again, because what a better medium within a medium, like I guess a genre within a medium than horror, to facilitate original content. You know, it's harder to get an original drama made than it is an original horror movie, I would say, and you're also rewarded like much better for it. So
Yeah,
it's
I
good.
mean, this first feature that I'm working on right now is it's literally me mashing up drama and horror, and so I'm curious to see like what the appeal is to it, because it's a hybrid, it's not strictly one or the other, but um it's very interesting to see how the timing and the mark, like the timing of the release. It's kind of like the start of spooky season. People kind of see September 1st as like, oh, it's time to like get into the spirit of Halloween. And so the market is just primed for it, and Halloween adjacent releases plus franchise recognition can equal huge results, like we're seeing with this film. And I saw the film myself, and so I honestly could not be more than happy to see a film that seems like it actually tried to be good and give a satisfying conclusion to these main Conjuring films. Do well, like that's cool with me. I genuinely liked the movie. I think it's my favorite since the first. So horror continues to be a reliable genre.
Yeah. I mean, I like that you said that it tries to be good. I think The Conjuring from day one, like the first movie, was always kind of trying to set itself aside as like, this is a different, serious, family driven kind of
Yes.
true forbidden footage, like true, like, can you survive The Conjuring type thing. And I like that it's lasted so long, and I like that it never lost that element to it, and it caused spin-offs and stuff. And you said it was a love story when you saw. I actually haven't seen the fourth one, the newest one we're talking about now, but I'd be curious to know like how much of it, or how do they blend and balance that love story, drama, family stuff with the horror?
So what I found really interesting about it, some people said like, oh, there was too many unnecessary jump scares, but it reminded me of Annabelle Creation, where it felt like even during the daytime, like you were never safe from a scare, which I think is
Mm,
cool. You know, I
yeah,
literally paid attention, and it seemed like every single scene, even if it was a heartfelt family moment that was building character, ended with something that was like, oh yeah, by the way, we can like something scary can happen at any moment, and I think that's why it worked so well. It balanced the character and the emotion really well with the scares, and to me it felt the most like the first Conjuring film out of the three sequels that we've gotten. So
of course.
yeah, definitely worth a watch.
That's really that's really good because I loved Annabelle Creation. That's one of my favorite ones.
That's a scary movie,
Um,
man. That
yeah,
might be
and
one of the scariest ones in the whole like
yeah,
universe.
yeah, and that director David F. Sandberg has a really good classic trajectory of coming up with a really good horror concept in Lights Out as a short film, making it
Yeah,
an undeniable short where it's like, what happens if you see a silhouette when the lights are off, which is just like, how did nobody think of that? But he did it, and
yeah.
and he did it great. It makes his feature, and then his second feature is Annabelle Creation, and then obviously he's off to make several more. But it's just really cool how reliable of a genre horror is. And if you're an indie filmmaker and maybe you don't do horror all the way, it's worth trying this as a genre because it's just such an easy way to make a strong concept, you know, pay off big. And I think there's a
Yeah.
similar rule that applies where it's like they say the best comedies are also a really good drama. I think you could do the same for a horror. So
Yeah, it's really interesting because we're going to be talking about Curry Barker's film that's all the talk of the town at TIFF. I saw him say something in a quick interview on TikTok. He essentially said, because obviously he comes from doing those comedy skits on TikTok. He said that in his opinion, horror and comedy are very similar because with horror you have to set up the scare, and with comedy you have to set up the punchline. And so I think my favorite horror movies are also kind of funny because the idea of being in a situation where like there's a haunting happening and it's this like surreal thing, but also there's some disbelief there, because it's the unknown. Like it can lead to some very natural feeling awkward humor, and so that's kind of what I'm doing with this first feature that I'm working on right now. Is I'm my main goal is to make you feel to make you care about the characters, so that when the scary stuff does happen, you actually care about how they react, and that's something I'm glad to see happening more in horror films because I think character is more important than anything, in my opinion. So I think that's why The Conjuring is so successful. The way that the Warrens are portrayed is you know you care, and the fourth one really wraps that up really well. So we're gonna move on to a quick ad break. If you're enjoying the show, please subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Leave us some reviews. Go ahead and follow us on social media. I go by Danny Dorito 23, and Ben, you go by.
go by at real Ben Escobar or at Genie Boy Games for my film and gaming content.
You can also join our Discord where you can chat about filmmaking. You can network with us. You can grab some special giveaways. We actually got some coming up here soon in the next couple of days. Speaking of giveaways, if you join our Patreon, which is $1 and up per month, you get access to exclusive producer opportunities, chances to mingle with us in a monthly hangout, a monthly film fellowship where we actually talk about our current filmmaking projects and give each other advice and share our experience, because I think everybody has, something interesting to share when it comes to getting a film made because there's no one path to doing it. So check out our Patreon. It's actually you get 15% off if you subscribe annually. So $1 gets you access to giveaways and stuff. So definitely check it out. I think that also gives you access to the Hangout every month. So $1 is a pretty good deal. Um, And yeah, don't forget to use G Fuel code Danny D. I'm actually drinking the new formula here. I finally had some show up. This is Miami Nights. No more chalkiness. Like, I don't know if you can see, there's literally like no chalk in it at the bottom. It's crazy, man. It's like voodoo magic. But there's a new Borderlands 4 flavor that was just announced. It looks really good. It's blue raspberry lemonade, which I'm surprised they haven't done that yet. And yeah, there's it seems like they're really getting back into the swing of doing like weekly releases, because there was a bit of a slowdown while they did, their rebrand behind the scenes. So feel your filmmaking sessions with some G Fuel. It's good stuff, and it helps support the content in the show. Now we're going to move on to our next news story. Curry Barker's Obsession premiered at TIFF, and it was, I think, the biggest buzz, at least at first, or during the initial start of TIFF. And then yeah, Ben, you want to talk about what happened there?
Yeah, so obviously the guy made an indie movie called Milk and Cereal, and it was an $800 short. No, it was $800 feature.
It was like a 62-minute feature. Yeah.
Yeah, and did very well on YouTube. Made a little name for himself, and then went on to make another film called Obsession. And I believe he had like a budget of 1 million on there, and had a good enough producing team and just good enough film in general to have a premiere at TIFF in their Midnight Madness section, which is a horror focused section. And got an offer from Focus Features for apparently over $15 million, which is very
good
exciting
for first feature. Like,
yeah.
Damn, man.
It sets a standard for everything else afterwards, and puts them in the likes of, I mean, I guess literally Robert Eggers, because that's one of the other one of the only other horror directors that's with Focus Features. Nosferatu and The Northman were both Focus, and so it's exciting to see what he does. But it's also exciting to talk about how this was a content creator, and this was a guy who was doing it himself and didn't answer to nobody, and took $800 to make his own first film, and look at that return on investment. That's crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about how content creators are becoming the next generation of filmmakers, and obviously that's exciting for Ben and I, because we come from a content creation background. It it feels like these content creators, at least for the most part, coming from this background where you have to generate exciting, engaging content on a weekly basis, is resulting in some films that take more risks. They're trying to do something different. I heard one of the biggest things that caught people's attention about this film was the editing style. It had a lot of really like hard cuts, and really just kept the pace interesting. And I think everybody can learn from that. Editing for pace is definitely one of the hardest things, because people complain about pacing all the time. But overall, it's just proof that the indie pipeline is changing. Audiences, festivals, and studios are starting to pay more attention to creators who have built their own platforms. Not only are they, taking these risks, but they're also coming with a built-in audience. And so it just, again, more proof about what we said in our first episode about getting started in film. Start building a following. Even if you just get to like 10,000 followers, that already puts you ahead of somebody who doesn't have any. And platforms like TikTok and now having like Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts makes it a lot easier to build followings. But you do still have to put in work.
Numbers are your biggest leverage in this industry, and that's why people like IP, because there's numbers behind it. There's sales. There's proven money, and it doesn't have to be an IP. It could be you yourself with a following. That's numbers, and there's revenue generated from those numbers as well, and those can have a lot of weight if used right. So definitely use that, since that's free. It's free to start fucking making content. So
next, we're going to talk about Scary Movie 6. And the reason why I decided to include this article is because I think we are starting to see another resurgence of comedy. I don't know if they're going to be getting like these big budgets like they used to, but it's just good to see comedy making a comeback here.
mm-hmm.
So Scary Movie 6 got announced with the Wayans brothers coming back to make this one. And if you don't know what Scary Movie is, which I honestly wouldn't be surprised because I think it's been a while since like the third one, which was like the last really big one, or maybe the fourth one. Um, and there's an interesting history about those movies and how the Wayans brothers kind of lost like the creative control of them, and they tried making one without them, and it wasn't a success. And so now they brought them back, and like original cast members are returning, like Regina Hall and Anna Faris. Um, they're supposed to be spoofing Scream, Get Out, Nope, I Know What You Did Last Summer, and a couple of other like really recent popular horror movies. I think they said Sinners as well. So I'm like,
That's cool.
I'm actually kind of excited to see what they do with these ideas because I like satirical comedy and stuff. So
I
it's
hope they
fun.
do something with the dance. That would be so funny to have them like do the Irish dance impromptu and stuff.
Yeah,
They got to make fun of like the Nun or like some of the Conjuring universe though, or like I don't know
definitely.
some of those Blumhouse stuff. Like there's so much, so much good stuff there.
I know
Megan,
yeah, they
Megan's
did they
Megan's in
did
trouble.
the they did the haunted house films. Remember that? They had like a haunted house and a haunted
Yes,
house 2, and those made fun of the Conjuring and Paranormal Activity a lot. So, yeah, I'm curious to see what they do with this one. I mean, parody has always reflected the current film trends, and so they they do have to have a pulse on like what audiences are what they care about right now, and tap into that nostalgia and that classic humor that we don't really get a lot of anymore. So
Naked Gun like did so well at that. I think this past year. So like if Naked Gun is paving the way for Scary Movie 6 to happen, like that's incredible news. And I hope we get a Naked Gun 2 and 3, 4, and 5. I mean, obviously we have sequels of the original, but this is very much needed, I think. And
yeah, I agree.
it's this is good trend awareness. I think that the plays are becoming more and more obvious for studios and just people, creatives in general, seeing like, okay, horror equals good and money. And God, that'd be wonderful if it's parody equals good and money as well. Because those are two very fun, expressive genres to play in. So
Yeah, you want to, I guess, start wrapping this up with this last news story here, Ben?
sure. So just today, this morning, there was several trades articles about how Warner Brothers is apparently prepping to receive a cash bid from Paramount to acquire them. Now, it's interesting because we just had that Skydance merger with Paramount, which makes them a huge behemoth, and that was such a long like process with like the government and stuff getting involved, and just a lot of insanity there. But it happened, and their libraries have since merged, and now with Warner Brothers on the table, that's really interesting. So, I mean, I
Yeah,
don't know.
I don't know how to feel about it. I mean, just think about all the IPs that would belong to them at that point. They would technically that would mean that HBO Max and Paramount would probably merge too. Like the streaming apps. So it's just another sign that the streaming wars are really coming to an end. It's. I mean, I know Warner Brothers. A big reason that like them and Discovery merged was because they're trying to figure out how to deal with the debt situation. But I don't. It doesn't seem like they've been able to really do anything about it. So I can see why this merger would be appealing to both parties. You know, but there. Keep in mind there hasn't. I did before we started this. I did check to see if there was any updates, and the only thing I saw is that they were clarifying that there has not been a formal bid made yet. This is early talks, but a lot of people don't seem to like the idea of another mega corporation, like the size of Disney after they merged with Fox. So it just means less people making the decisions, about where the
Yeah,
industry goes.
we'll see where it goes. I mean, it's a very like if you can't beat them, join them kind of thing. And it would be weird to see, Paramount Plus and HBO Max, which is, Warner Brothers streaming service, and then Paramount streaming service, those becoming one. And I guess who gets the last laugh? Is it the HBO brand or is it the Paramount Plus brand? And I think we know like which stands taller in between those two. But like, or maybe you keep them separate and you despite the merger, which I think wouldn't be a bad idea because HBO does have kind of that reputation of this premium television, which with darker tone and all that, and it's good to keep that legacy.
Paramount HBO Plus. That's the new name.
Oh God, that's like the the memes to come from that, because they did like the memes of like, oh, first it was, you know, HBO,
HBO.
then we were
Yeah, it was.
Max, and now we're
Yeah.
Paramount Plus, HBO Max Plus. Like, oh my God.
Oh yeah, we'll see what happens with that. We plan to do an episode like this. It's a news roundup about every 2 weeks or so, I would say. So we'll keep an eye on this one and update you when more comes out. So to kind of wrap up our episode here, again, we're just gonna kind of talk about what's new with us. One thing we're looking forward to, and then I have a fun story about a skunk incident. So Ben, what's one thing you're looking forward to this next week?
Um, let's see. Got a lot of good meetings for some of the projects I'm working on this coming week. I'm excited about that. Hopefully, we'll see some good momentum. I am still chugging along in my screenplay that for my game. I was supposed to finish it 2 weekends ago, and I still haven't. But it's good, slow progress. Excited to continue the script I'm writing with Derek, and we're past the halfway point there. That's great, and yeah, just positive stuff.
I am excited to see The Long Walk tomorrow. I'm hearing nothing but positive buzz about this. It's currently the highest rated Stephen King, I guess, film on like Rotten Tomatoes. So we'll see if that holds or not. But it's really cool to see how they. I guess they took what I can't remember his name. The guy who made Strange Darling wrote this one, and then they took like a director who did like the last Hunger Games movie, I think. And so you got two really like titan voices there partnering up to do this one, and it looks like it's paying off. So be going to Flick's Brewhouse with the wife tomorrow, and I'll be doing a review on that. Last before we say goodbye here, we wanted to acknowledge a really cool comment that we saw. And then I forgot I'm gonna talk about the skunk story, but I wanted to make sure we reply to this. Ben, do you want to read it or do you want me to?
Sure. So this is from Raptor Lek, at Raptor Lek. He says, I finally got around to listening to this podcast while driving to and from work. I was bummed that Cool Ranch Corner was ending, but I am now very excited to listen to this new series. As someone who dreams to get into film and create stories, I think he left out industry, but yeah, as someone who dreams to get into the film industry and create stories, it's awesome to hear about the ins and outs of the industry and tips and tricks about how to get started given different circumstances for each person. I can't wait to listen to more episodes from you guys.
Really cool to see something like that, especially so early on. I mean, we're on the third full length episode here, and that totally hits the target that we were aiming for in terms of creating not only something that's entertaining, but that gives some value to you guys as aspiring filmmakers or filmmakers early in your career. Because Ben and I, we both started out just like you, where we had a passion and a dream, and we had to figure it out. And so, uh, giving giving a giving you guys a show that can help in that kind of journey, is something that I wish I had when I was starting out. So it's cool to see. Thank you, Raptor Lek.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks so much, man.
So real quick, I have never encountered a skunk like actually spraying, but last night, my dog Sammy, who's like a close to full size, like large dog, got sprayed by a skunk. So that was really fun to deal with. It'll make like if you guys ever see a skunk spray somebody in a movie, you know where that inspiration's coming from now. Because I did not enjoy that experience. That is like I told my wife, I said I never thought I would smell something that I would consider worse than poop. And that was like, it's so invasive, man. Like even after we had like washed the dog with this like, solution that we made with baking soda, hydrogen peroxide and like dish soap, it was like it was stuck in my nose, you know?
Ooh.
Like it just I like it was awful, man. And yeah, I if you see a skunk, do not provoke it. It is bad. You do not want to get sprayed. And yeah, we're having to. We think it might be. We think it may have nested on our properties, so we're having fun kind of figuring out what to do about that. But just thought that would be fun to share. You know, that's some life experience, and life experience is what I always recommend drawing from when you're creating stories. So always fun to share experiences like that. For our next topic, I was thinking we might talk about how to write a screenplay. I feel like we talked about AI a lot in this one, so I don't know if we're gonna do like a full length episode on AI, maybe later down the road when there's like another big development, or you know. But yeah, jeez, don't
We'll
even want to
see.
think about it.
Yeah. No, I think
But
how to
it's
write
coming.
a screenplay is a great idea. There's a lot to talk about with that too, like an
Yeah,
outlining process, the right books to read. Derek's a
definitely.
big like screenplay book reader, and I am very envious of that because I am not as much, but that's valuable. So
Yeah, yeah, we'll definitely talk about all of that. But yeah, thanks for listening to this week's or sorry, not this week, this episode. I feel like we're putting these out at a good pace. So as always, I'm Derek Bowder,
I'm Ben Escobar,
and
and
this is you go ahead, Ben. Close us out. Your turn.
and this is the Fellowship of the Script. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again soon for the next episode. Until then, keep creating, keep pushing. Dude, this sun is in my eyes. This whole fucking
And keep telling stories that matter.
and
All
keep
right?
yes. Sorry. Yes.
And don't get sprayed by a skunk.
Definitely not. Yeah.
Have a good one. Thanks for listening, guys.
Bye.